I would say that it's very necessary that you first self-introspect yourself. You discover your inner self, find out where your passion lies, and then you would know where the sweet spot is. The sweet spot basically tells you throughout the career life, because before setting up an enterprise, you have worked aggressively. You would have worked aggressively in your in the job, and you would have accumulated and learned and developed and built a lot of skill sets, capabilities, strengths. Over the period of your career journey, you would have known what is actually giving you the kick, the motivation, the thrill in doing a certain assignment and doing a certain mandate. That is where you would know that if it is in such and such particular segment, this is going to be extremely helpful, and you'll be able to make your presence felt. If you don't know anything about the domain, if your domain expertise in some other region, and you're trying to float your business into a totally different region just because you think that a lot of fund and PE fund and the venture fund are going to chase that segment, you're doing a grave mistake. Because at the end of the day, in a startup, it is you who would be evaluated first, even before your company. So unless and until you're confident about your own business, there's hardly any chance for you to convince others, not only from a customer perspective to buy your product and service, but also from a fundraising perspective, where you try to convince an investor that you come and invest into my business. So therefore, it is extremely important, it is extremely necessary that you first identify what is the sweet spot. You discover where your passion lies, and then that becomes the first step in the journey of setting up an enterprise. Once you know where your passion lies, the second step is, I would say, having a right vision. Now, vision does not mean you have a vision statement just for the sake of having it. Here, when I say vision, that vision would itself will be your Bible, your guidebook in determining your next course of action and your future course of actions. That vision will tell you what kind of a business model you should have. The business will tell you what kind of operating structure you should have. The business will tell you, the vision will tell you what kind of customer segments you should focus on and why you should focus on. That will help you to understand, depending on your passion, how do you see your business scaling up in the next 3 to 5 years. Don't go with a 20-year vision in this, because after what we have experienced, there is no long-term vision. The concept of long-term vision is not there anymore. We are into the short-term or the intermediate-term kind of a vision in the scenario. So think about what you can do or what you can achieve in the 3 to 5 years time. And within that 3 to 5 years, if you go solo all by yourself, and let's say worst case scenario, you don't get a capital, how nicely you can scale it up all by yourself. Where do you reach? And in case you get a capital, where will you reach? Because that will determine your scalability in a different way. So vision has to be 4 things you have to remember about vision. It has to be very, very specific. It has to be realistic. It has to be time bound. You cannot assign an infinite time to the vision. So it has to be very, very much time bound, and it has to be action oriented. The vision should translate your next course of action or the future course of action to achieve what you want to achieve, that you're thinking about yourself, that you're envisioning about yourself. So that's very necessary.